Now, the number of people who've lost their life to knife crime in England and Wales is at its highest level since records began.
Now, new figures from the Office of National Statistics show that between March 2021 and March 2022, 4 in 10 killings were committed with knives. That's a 19% rise in knife crime deaths compared to last year. There were 69 teenage homicide victims in the past year. 51 of them were killed by a knife or a sharp instrument.
We're joined on the sofa this morning by Dr. Mark Prince, whose 15-year-old son, Kiyan, was stabbed to death outside his school in 2006. Mark, welcome. This morning. We can talk about statistics, and we will get into some of that in a moment. For you, this is deeply personal.
100%.
And I just wonder how this, on a personal note, how this makes you feel hearing those numbers, that there is more knife crime than ever before.
You know, it's really frustrating because it's issues that we've been bringing up with the government and talking about for a long time. Kiyan passed in 2006. So you can imagine how many times we've been at MOPAC, spoken on government platforms, done interviews, and talked about the solution and talked about what we could do to reduce things and what's worked. And we've seen nothing really been done. Nothing's been put in place. So it really hurts because you know the impact it's having on families, the pain and the hurt. There's a level of pain that you wouldn't want to wish even on your enemy. You really wouldn't. The way this grips you from the inside and rips your heart out. And I saw someone on the platform on the Turkish TV with all the earthquakes crying for his daughter. And it just, I knew how he felt, the way he screamed out loud. And that's what's happening in our communities. And it's having a ripple effect. People don't know the wider impact, how you're taking someone's life away that you don't know who they were born to become, the purpose of their life. So you don't really know who we've taken off the planet. And that is serious for me.
Can we talk about Kiyan?
Yeah, please.
He was 15 years old in 2006, and there was a fight at the school, I understand, and he was attempting to break it up.
Yeah, he came out of his school and saw altercation. Obviously, he was very popular. He knows all the young people at the school and just went in and tried to break it up. That was his nature. And unfortunately, he died for being that kind of thoughtful, kind person.
And the person who stabbed him was imprisoned?
Yeah, Hannah Hussain's gone to prison, made efforts to see if I can get in there and do a visit. So if the governors and, you know, the prison system's listening, I still want the opportunity because it was prevented from happening.
What do you want to say to him?
There's lots of things, and sometimes I feel like put me there and it will come out of me. But I feel that if somebody punched my kid and hurt them at school, you'd call the parents to come down and have a conversation. So if someone's killed your child, why aren't you doing the same thing? Why can't we have a conversation with the person and ask them what's going on?
You're having, the Kiyan Prince Foundation was set up 2 years after Kiyan's death.
Yeah.
And those conversations with those young people who are, misguided, off track, however you want to put this.
Yeah.
How is that work helping? What is that doing? Give me, it obviously is.
Yeah, 100%. It is working. And I think what's made it work is me being able to have gone through a process in my life of a lot of hurt and pain and understanding them and understanding their mindsets. Because when you look at the cause, many of the cause and issues is like toxic environments that young people are in. The environment that they're coming in their neighborhoods as well, being high crime and different issues. So
self-worth?
A lot of that comes into it because when you're not being nurtured, right, or you're feeling a lot of hurt and pain, you internalize that in a negative way, and it comes out in a negative way.
Mark, you know, you speak with tremendous passion, and that, you know, it's oozing out of you. Do you know for sure if you're placed face to face with a young person who is by their own admission carrying a knife, or you know, feels they're in that territory that could be happening?
Yeah.
Can you see that you've changed them? Are you able to have that impact one-on-one if you have those conversations?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Tell me about that.
It's been proven so many times. So just recently, I dropped a young person home after a boxing motivational training session because I'm really focused on the mindset as well as I want to implement that nurturing, discipline, sacrifice, all the blueprints to success that young people need to understand and learn that they don't necessarily learn at school. So I'm that individual that plays that role. So when you hear guys sharing with you their stories, how when they're their father, absent from the home, and the impact they had on them, and the impact I'm having now in their life, being able to be that father figure.
You started that story by saying you dropped someone off.
Yeah, that's it. I dropped somebody off and he shared with me in the car how much it means to him that I not only train with him, but I'm able to take time away to speak goodness into his life. He talks to me about his mum, the mental health issues that are going on in his home, and just having somebody there depositing seeds of positivity in his life is having a great effect.
When you talk to a young man, for example, or a young woman who is carrying a knife, and you say, my son died at the hands of a blade, what do they say?
The whole atmosphere changes because they know that, wow, and you're sitting here in front of us. And they understand how real this is because this person really has to care to go through this and be coming to us now and caring for us in this way. And you have to remember, sometimes I'm in front of guys who are offenders, who have hurt individuals, families, killed people. So this is it's quite a profound encounter to have and just see it on their faces, how their mindset changes.
I suppose in a way part of the problem here, Mark, is you'll know this obviously from the work you do.
Yeah.
You cannot be in front of everyone.
100%.
You cannot do that.
Yeah.
So how you go and see a government minister and they say, yeah, we'll do everything we can.
Yeah.
There's money being put here, there's money being put there. I think we actually have a statement, don't we?
We do, from the Home Office,
Should we just, what did the statement say?
A Home Office spokesperson has said that we are committed to preventing as many homicides as we can by confronting the main drivers. This includes our plan to tackle domestic abuse, reduce the demand and supply of illicit drugs, provide £130 million to prevent serious violence through our network of violence reduction units.
Okay, and you have meetings with ministers, and they have policy, but something is missing in the equation.
100%, because like Javid's been putting in these tough measures.
Talking about Sajid Javid.
Yeah, and that's not ever going to work because you have to look at this cause and effect. So you got to look at the underlying. Stop focusing on the symptoms. Look at what's causing it. When we start looking at it as a disease, then we start looking at the cure. And the cure's focused on young people. We have to focus on their needs and what it is that they're crying out for. If we do the stats, we look at all the youth clubs closed. We do the stats, we look at 420 odd million has been reduced in youth work and given to young people over the last 10 years. So all of these things are going to have an impact. So if we start putting young people first and stop putting all the blame on them and focusing on offenders, and then I think we focus on prevention more, we can start seeing a turnaround in this over the next 10 years. But it has to start somewhere. And for me, it starts with my foundation. For me, it starts with me publicizing what we're trying to do, the work, the success of it, the model we're trying to expand, and asking people to support and help. That's why we're doing this big event. Celebrities are now coming on board. Stormzy's coming on board. Russell Howard, Mo Gilligan. All these guys are showing how important this is to them, and they're supporting the Kiyan Prince Foundation on the 20th of May. And we want the public to come and support it.
That is the Kiyan Prince Foundation Champions Cup, yeah?
Champions Cup,
there you go. At Loftus Road, QPR's Loftus Road Stadium.
If the model's not done by the government, then we'll do it. We'll start this up. We'll put the children first like we have done for the last 20 years and impacted over 100,000 lives in that time. What could we do with 1 million? Think about this. 1 million for a murder trial, okay, to put one guy away. If we had that million, how many young lives could we save? And that's the GoFundMe page that we've got.
Mark, it's been really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Beautiful.
Once again, thank you.
I really
Good to see
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay there just a minute.